I always hear the like the tuba part. It's like bum 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 bum.
I like that. I like it. I never knew that.
First it started falling over, and then it fell over.
What's that?
From The Simpsons, when Bart's factory that he bought fell over. Milhouse was like the night security guard, and he's like, "You're supposed to be watching the factory." He said, "I was watching it. First it started falling over, then it fell over."
Do you remember that?
Great line.
Okay.
All right, here we are.
Woo!
Yeah.
Go Hoosiers.
Yeah. Who?
Yeah. Okay. Hello.
Hello.
This is Photography is Nothing. I'm Courtney MCCRACKEN.
I'm Zach Dobson.
This is a video podcast about photography.
And whatever we want to talk about.
And today...
talking about the Hoosiers.
Hoosiers. Not just the Hoosiers. The Hoosiers as a whole. Not just the Hoosier football team. But Indiana University, our alma mater.
Yeah.
Woo.
Yeah.
We love IU.
Go IU.
Go IU. So this is a great opportunity for us.
Yes.
Because you may or may not know that the Indiana Hoosiers are now Big Ten champions in football.
Big Ten champions. Rose Bowl.
Rose Bowl champions. We beat Ohio State.
We have the Heisman Trophy winner.
Heisman, yes.
Undefeated record.
Undefeated, yes. I noticed the other day that they have more wins this season than you saw in your entire 4 years.
That's true.
At the school. Yeah. I don't know what the record was when I was there. We are slightly
Well, I looked it up. When we
adjacent.
won the Rose Bowl, I looked up the record for the years that I was there. 2000 to 2003 were the football seasons. And yeah, they were 13 and 33, I believe.
Yeah.
And I feel like the Rose Bowl was the 14th win.
Okay.
I think. Mm-hmm. I should
Still,
know this.
it's more than, I know that they have won at least
season.
14 this season.
Yeah.
And coming in for another one, couple more opportunities to win games coming up. And so we wanted to take this opportunity to talk about IU and everything we love about it. So we're going to talk about football, basketball, Little Five,
Soccer,
architecture, the architecture of Indiana University, the amazing programs that are happening at Indiana University. This is not an ad for Indiana University, but if Indiana University would like it to be, it can be.
Yeah, right.
Because it is a place that we love and adore, like so many alumni from IU. We are avid fans of the school as a whole, not just our teams that come out of there.
Well, yeah, and one thing that's really great about Bloomington, Bloomington's a great city.
Bloomington is where the flagship Indiana University campus is. It is the main campus for IU.
And we were talking about the other day how Indiana as a state has a very conservative reputation. But Bloomington and IU is a very liberal town, a liberal college.
It's a progressive place, and there's a lot of great stuff that happens in and around IU, and always has been. IU has a long-standing reputation from the very beginning of being a progressive university, and so that is something that we really have always been excited about and hold near and dear to our hearts. We have a lot of the same values. Something I wanted to say I wanted to say from the get-go that we went to IU. What years were you there?
2000, fall of 2000 to I graduated in the spring of 2004.
Okay, so I went in 1997 until 2001, and then again.
And that's when I met you, the second.
And then again, another year, 2003 to 2004, and that's when we met. When I went back again.
To get your second degree.
To get my second degree. So I have an unusual combination of degrees, too, which only happens at places like IU. I feel like liberal arts colleges are like that. But I have a business degree with a concentration in accounting from the Kelley School of Business, one of the premier business schools in the world. And in the accounting program is no joke. And also, and I think I barely survived the accounting program. I wasn't top of my class. I had graduated with decent grades. But so again, I have a BA in English literature also that I got later because I was considering going on to do some more studies, more on the liberal arts side. And then I met you, and then we started a business, and we got jobs, and
Yeah, I have a BA in journalism with a concentration in photography. IU did not have a photojournalism degree, but that is what I studied while I was there.
So now it's the media school.
Now it's the media school, yeah.
But where you have taught and will teach more classes.
Yes, exactly.
And but that has always been a famously well-known journalism program too.
Yeah.
Revered.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So we have been taken very well care of by IU, I would say, with our degrees and our education that came from there and the friendships and the network that we built. And so we wanted to tell everybody about IU.
Yeah.
Because we think it's such a great place.
Yeah.
And I think that we are going to start. So IU was originally founded in 1820. I think that the charter for it was even like 15 years before that.
Okay.
Right around 1803, 1805. And then it was changed to Indiana College very soon after.
Okay.
And then soon after that became Indiana University. And it was only admitting a handful of male students in the beginning, which was customary for the time.
Of course.
But very soon after admitted women as full-time students, and was one of the first universities in the country to do so. So that is a great part of the heritage.
Yeah. For sure.
So IU is not traditionally a football school, but
that is very true.
They've been doing really great. So we're going to start with football.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of the big news right now.
Right. Well, what I found was some of the stuff from the first football teams. Someone had located this scrapbook, and there's these portraits.
They're like muscle men.
Yeah. They've got their like stripy socks on and short pants and pads and striking football poses for the camera. This says IU 1893. Their first game of the season in 1889 against Wabash.
Yeah, which is also a really old Indiana university.
Yeah, that they got beat really badly. They got beat 40-2.
IU did.
IU did.
Okay.
And it was a mess. And the quarterback of Wabash got like majorly injured. It said, this quote from this scrapbook said, his accident proved more serious than first thought. The player, Mr. Biederwold, remained unconscious until 8 p.m. Oh my gosh. But then was able to travel back with his team on the midnight train to Crawfordsville. But another thing about this football team is that the coach for this year, his name was Evans Wolin. And he was the grandfather of Evans Wolin III, who is a famous architect in Indiana. Yeah. Who also designed buildings at Indiana University.
Oh, wow.
That's
why I know that name.
The music school building, that like Brutalist.
Right.
Where they have a concert hall and stuff.
Yes.
That was designed by Wolin's.
Another outstanding program at Indiana University.
Clues Hall at Butler. There's that big federal building downtown.
Yeah, So he was just a brutalist architect. Is that what his specialty was?
He did a lot of that, yeah. But he did. I mean, he lived until like 2016, 17. He designed the very modern addition on the library in downtown Indianapolis.
Oh man, that library is so cool.
So I think during that period, the 50s,
the Indianapolis
and 60s,
Public Library in downtown.
Indiana is such a small place
that like really. Everybody is related.
Everybody's connected.
Yeah, that's fun. Okay, so cool. So the football program goes way back.
Yes.
Into the 1800s. Yeah, I mean basketball is another sport that's been around at IU for a long time.
Well, speaking of the Wolins family, and the connection to different areas of IU, you have a family connection to basketball.
I forgot about that. I didn't even think about that as we were talking about that. So,
I know you don't mention it very much.
No, but you know who does? Everybody at IU. So I am, I guess like medium distance related to Branch McCracken.
Branch McCracken.
Famous basketball coach.
He won the IU's first national titles, 1940 and 1953.
Yeah, and I think that if you live in Indiana, you've probably met a kid named Branch or with the middle name Branch, and that is after Branch McCracken. He was beloved, really, and the floor at Assembly Hall was named after him.
Oh, Branch McCracken Court. Yeah,
and
he played
now
at
you
IU.
can have right.
Yeah, he was from Monrovia.
Yes.
And then played at IU in the late 20s. And then he coached elsewhere, but then was brought back to IU. I think he coached at Ball State briefly.
Okay.
I was just reading about this because I thought it was interesting. So one story about him that I thought was really cool is that he was friends with John Wooden.
Yes.
He was a little bit older than John Wooden. John Wooden, another Indiana basketball kid, played at Purdue.
Yeah.
And then
even more the most beloved basketball coach maybe
of anywhere
that's ever existed.
Yeah. So there was a story about how they both served in World War II.
Okay.
Because he was coaching and then he served in World War II and came back.
Okay.
So he had won McCracken had won a title by that point. And he was approached after the war to coach at UCLA. McCracken was.
Okay.
And he was very happy at IU. He didn't want to leave IU. He had it on good authority that a coaching position at Purdue was coming open. And he was concerned that John Wooden was going to get that position.
Okay.
So he referred John Wooden to the UCLA job so he wouldn't have to coach against him at Purdue.
That's a great story.
I know. I loved hearing that.
That's a cute story. I think that, as Hoosiers, if you could have a name like McCracken, you're pretty lucky.
I remember us being at Nick's and this guy being like, McCracken, are you related to Branch McCracken? He was so excited.
He was so excited and drunk.
And very drunk.
He was very drunk, and he really held me hostage, asking me every question. He knew all his stats. He loved them. He was so cute. He was like, we were a little bit older at that point. Maybe we were back visiting IU.
We were. It was like a year after we graduated.
Yeah. So he was like a current college student. Yeah. And he left his friends and sat with us the whole night. And was so excited.
Right.
I think he asked me to sign an autograph.
Probably.
Like it was, and I was like, I
might have a picture of him. I'll look.
Yes. Gosh, that'd be so funny. And if we could, oh my gosh, wouldn't it be neat if we could find him?
That would be cool.
He probably doesn't remember this at all. But it was really, that's what it was like. Like being at IU as a McCracken, it was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was the only one of my family who went to IU. So I was the only one that got to have all that fun.
Fully embrace it.
Yeah. But I obviously didn't know him. And I think that the way that we were related is that maybe he was a cousin once removed from my grandfather.
Okay.
He's like one generation older. I think that's how you would say that. I don't know. I never know that. We should ask Louisa. She would know.
Yeah.
She knows stuff like that.
I thought this picture was cool. So Branch McCracken with Bill Garrett, who was one of the first black players in the Big Ten.
Okay.
I think he was the first black player at IU. Was also when Garrett graduated in 1951, he was drafted to the NBA. Only the third black player to be drafted into the NBA.
Okay.
But then he was drafted into the military and served in Korea and then never ended up playing in the NBA.
Oh, wow.
But he did play on the Harlem Globetrotters.
Oh, fun.
After the war. And now the Hyper Gym, the intramural courts, are named after Bill Garrett.
Okay.
So that's a relatively new, I think within the last 5 or 6 years, they changed the name to that. So I thought that was an interesting kind of side story.
Right. And
but
the Hyper's a really
IU
cool
is
building.
Progressive, and the Hyper is from the 1920s, isn't it?
It was a really fancy building at the time.
It's got 10 full-size basketball courts or something like that.
Yeah. So what else about basketball? Got any more?
I liked this photo from 1960, Walt Bellamy. There standing center. Just very of the era of that 1950s.
Absolutely. My dad wore almost that exact same uniform as a basketball player.
Yeah.
The exact same time.
I love the old kind of cheesy poses and stuff that they would have the players do. Also, I thought this one was cool. From IU winning their national title.
Oh, I knew exactly what it was from.
In 1981.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, and then, of course, the most famous of photos is Bob Knight throwing the chair.
I have a lot of feelings about Bob Knight that I'm not going to share.
No. No.
Yeah. So another sport that happens at IU that's really good is swimming, which I didn't even think about when we were talking about this. But when I was a swimmer at IU, which I was, we would work out while we were often heading to the gym while the basketball players were in one of their workouts.
Like the weight room?
The weight rooms. And we knew a lot of the basketball players because they would come in, and, all the athletes, we would share spaces. Their practices are famously closed to the public. And we would try to like see through the doors and like put our eyes up just to be like, we saw the practice. Because it was so obnoxious that their practices were closed to the public. I mean, I kind of get it.
Now we know why.
Yeah. I mean, that's like, to me, is the sign of an abuser is they won't let you see what's happening. And so like everything happens behind closed doors. We needed a new coach. Okay. So anyways, we got one and he was awesome.
Yeah.
Who was that?
Mike Davis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I loved him.
I liked him.
He was so cool. And he took that team all the way to the finals. That basketball team. That was really fun.
Yeah.
That was when I was in Montana. I told you about that recently. And all my roommates didn't have basketball teams.
That is when, I'm just remembering a photography thing from this. Because I was working at the student paper when they went to the finals. But I wasn't the one who got to go to the finals to photograph the game.
Bollocks.
It was a bummer. Dan, shout out Dan Uris. He went, he had a digital camera.
So he got to go.
Very rare at the time. I'm not saying that's why he got to go. I'm just saying
your
that
feelings
did help.
And you've definitely gotten over it.
Definitely.
Okay, but that was so fun. It was such a fun run. And I was living in Bozeman, Montana, and I was watching IU games, and my roommates, I had like 4 roommates, 3 of which were boys, and they loved basketball, and they did not have
their own
team to really cheer for doing anything basketball wise. And so they decided they were IU fans that season, and they cheered with me all the way to the finals, and we had a huge party, and everybody wore IU stuff. It was really fun.
That is fun.
And it was such a nice memory for me.
Yeah. That is nice.
And I also introduced my roommate to a girl that I grew up with who lived in Bozeman at the time, and they got married.
That's crazy.
I know. That all happened.
Nice.
Hi, Audrey. And his name was Zach.
What?
I know.
I thought I was the only Zach.
What's next? What's our next sport? We're going through some more sports.
Well, IU has a legendary soccer program.
Absolutely.
The founder of the program and its head coach for the first, 30-ish years, Jerry Yeagley.
Yes.
I loved photographing soccer. I had not been a soccer fan per se before I started taking pictures of it. But here's when they won. So Yeagley's last season as head coach, they won the national title. So that was a great way to be able to like send him off. And that was fun because I got to shoot the whole playoff run and the final game and everything like that. But yeah, he has a whole cool story about how he was like, he started the program as a club team and spent 10 years running it as a club team and trying to get them into varsity status and then turning them into one of the best programs in the country. And I've got my Yeagley bobblehead that I got on one of the like senior night or something.
Yeah. And it's interesting because what I've always thought was interesting was that IU is so good at soccer. And Indiana is actually like a very soccer heavy state. Kids, everybody grows up playing soccer around here. And like all of our kids played soccer at some point. And the kids who come out of like the area where we are so good at soccer.
Yeah.
And almost like the whole high school team goes on to play in college. And yet nobody really gets to play at IU.
Yeah.
Their own state school.
Right.
So because it is so good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you've got like state champions from the high school in Indiana that are like, I know when I was there, a lot of the guys that I graduated with were winning state and then playing the club team at IU because they
weren't good enough to
play. Yeah, but they were state champions for Indiana.
Yeah.
So really, I mean
they have people from other countries come and
absolutely.
play at IU.
It's an international program.
Yeah.
So they are really fun to watch.
Yeah, definitely. If we're talking about sports, we've got the Little 500.
Got to talk about the Little 500.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is a reference to the Indianapolis 500.
Right.
Which you know.
I do. I am familiar with that.
I had to tell our audience.
Oh, yeah. So Little 5 is what we call it, really.
Yes.
Is what IU kids call it. Little 5 is a bike race.
It's around the soccer field.
Okay, so it's really an interesting bike race too, because it's absurd. Because it's a relay race.
Yeah.
And the team has to use the same bike.
Yes.
So, and the bikes do not have like gears or anything.
It's a single speed bike.
Right. And they they do these crazy exchanges.
Oh, yeah.
Where they hop off. So they hop off and they shove it between their legs. They go and they push it between their legs. And then the next rider hops on while it's still running.
Yeah.
So every time there's exchanges, there's crashes.
Yes.
But the best teams who've been training really well, or where the riders have ridden more than 1 year or 2 years, don't usually have, are so good at it. It's really fun to watch. And it's it is obviously there's a lot of, IU is a very Greek school. There's a lot of fraternities and sororities, and they all participate in Little Five. But then there's also a famous, on both the men's and the women's Little Five, there are local teams as well as not. So they're all kids that grew up they're townies, as they're called. They grew up in Bloomington. And then there's also teams that are just kids from other organizations around campus too. So it's not 100% Greek.
Right.
But is a really fun time.
Yeah.
Whether you're watching or participating.
Yeah.
I had a very short stint riding and I got spooked. And so I did not race in the Little Five. Which is really one of my greater regrets.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I photographed so much of it, from all the practices to the races themselves. Because the men's and women's races are on separate days in April.
And it's just a huge fun week.
Yeah, everybody shows up. The race started in 1951, and it inspired a film.
Yeah, Breaking Away.
Yeah, 1979.
Yes.
Starring Dennis Quaid.
Yeah.
Daniel Stern.
Uh-huh.
Something that I learned in researching this was that the name of their team, the characters' team, the Cutters,
right?
That name was made up for the movie.
Right.
I didn't know that.
You didn't know that?
No.
Now there's Cutters teams.
Because
of the movie. But
did you know why they were called the Cutters?
Yeah, limestone cutters.
Yeah, but
because their parents were
yes.
broke.
I mean, that was a part of the movie, but why? But there is a real name that people would call those people.
Oh.
They would call them Stonies or Stoners.
Oh, yeah.
And because the people who were producing the film were worried that calling them Stoners or anything that sounded like that, Stonies, would think that they were potheads or something.
Uh-huh.
So they made up their own word for the film.
I did know it was made up.
That's why. I didn't know that.
I know there's a scene where there's swimmers in the background.
Okay.
And some coaches from my era were the swimmers swimming in the background. We were swimmers at IU.
That's fun.
And I knew, and that was at the Hyper that they filmed that at the old pool, which we only swam at off season for fun because it was the most ridiculous pool. And I mean, not as ridiculous as the pool I swam at LSU, but that was crazy.
Yeah.
But that was the Huey P. Long.
Yeah, that was longer than...
It was longer than a standard pool. That was the Huey P. Long pool.
He wanted to have the longest pool.
He wanted to have the longest pool. Yeah, but it was a really cool...
How much longer was it?
It was like a meter. It was like 1 or 2 meters longer. It was... And so they had a bulkhead they had to put in to make it the right... But it was really ridiculous. Neat. It was really neat because that's whatever. It was a really neat pool. I don't know. Maybe there's a picture of it. It's probably condemned now. It was really, really old when I swam in it. Yeah. But it had this it was like a bathhouse kind of pool.
Okay.
It had a upstairs. It was open, but it was there was a building that surrounded the pool, and there were dressing rooms and
sure.
It was a balcony, and you could people would hang out up on the balcony. I guess in its heyday, it was a fancy pool. And, whenever Huey P. Long was around, he was a politician, corrupt in Louisiana.
It's crazy.
Okay, so back to IU.
Yeah.
We are okay. So Little Five, super fun time. Watch Breaking Away.
Yeah.
Maybe go see Little Five. It's really for college kids, but sometimes if you know a college kid in the race,
I mean, you're not talking about watching the best cyclists in the world.
No, it's really
not
just
watching.
And the audience. If you think that the crowd in the 80s at Indy 500 was crazy, then it's more than that.
Yeah.
Because these are college kids who've been literally partying.
Yeah.
Since like Sunday.
We were like drinking while we were taking pictures.
Right. It was like Sunday until the race on Friday.
Yeah.
Right? Is that when the boys' race is? Men's.
The races are Friday and Saturday.
So the women's race is Friday, the men's race is Saturday. So literally just a week straight of parties. Like every bar is going, every frat house, every house on campus is partying all week. Like this is the week when we found someone sleeping on our couch outside because we had a couch on our porch.
Yeah.
Because as you do when you're in college.
As one does.
Right. It was like mustard yellow velour couch.
Right.
709 East University Street. And it's probably still there. And there was one point when we went by and they still had the couch there. And I was like, you guys got to throw that couch out. That's been there since I was in college.
That's not safe.
It was my sister's friend's grandma's couch.
Okay.
And we put it on the porch because we didn't have any room for it inside.
Yeah.
And one morning we woke up and this guy was sleeping on our porch. And he was like, hey. And he's like, does so-and-so live here? And we were like, no. And he was like, okay. And that was the end of that. And we would find people sleeping on our porch all the time.
That's hilarious.
People got word of the yellow comfy couch.
Yeah.
If we're talking about Little Five, then Nick's is an obvious next discussion. Is a little tiny like Tudor storefront with a big giant bar attached to it that's been built onto and built onto.
So any of these sports that you're watching, any of the sports, you're watching a national championship, you're partying after Little Five, you're celebrating the Rose Bowl win, Nick's is the place.
And you know what? If you watch any of these sports, if you watch the next IU football game coming up, the Peach Bowl this weekend, the next time you're watching IU play football, they will cut to fans watching the game and they will be at Nick's.
Yeah.
Okay. And you would think based on the popularity and like the legend of Nick's that like you could never get into you can go to Nick's anytime you want. Definitely go when you're in there. We go all the time.
It's so big. There's room for everybody.
It's huge. I have taken everybody in my family. We've taken our kids.
Yeah.
Because there's a downstairs part where you can eat.
Yeah.
And we eat pizza there and strombolis.
Yeah.
That's what you should get at Nick's. And also there's a famous game from Nick's, which is called Sink the Bismarck.
Oh, Sink the Biz for
Sink
short.
the Biz. And it is it's like a drinking game where you put a little glass.
I've got plenty of pictures of that.
A little glass in your bucket, and then everybody takes turns pouring into it, and then it sits on the bottom. So everybody who goes to IU plays Sink the Biz. And so this is like a thing, right? It's like a rite of passage. And so when my dad came to visit for fun one weekend, my friend Shannon and I took our dads, and we went to go play Sink the Biz. And first of all, never mind. Second of all, thought about who my audience was. Second of all, we're there playing Sink the Biz and we're having a grand old time. Yeah. And we are sometimes the glass will like sit on the cusp of the beer.
Yeah, it's like surface tension.
Right. And it'll look like whatever. Well, we had that happening. It was really exciting. Mm-hmm. And we just kept pouring into it and it was not sinking. So it's like you sink it, you have to drink it is the way that the game works.
Yeah, everybody puts their fingers in.
Everybody's hands are in. Mm-hmm. And this is like, you can imagine how disgusting that was with a bunch of college students. And like, especially back in the 90s and before that.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't sinking and it wasn't sinking. And then we finally realized that it was sitting on the bottom.
Yeah.
Which happens periodically.
It does happen.
But I will tell you, it is one of the funniest things that has ever happened to me when my dad and Shannon's dad and Shannon, it was so funny. Mm-hmm. I mean, we laughed and laughed until we cried because it was so absurd that these two grown men, it didn't occur to them that it was sitting on the bottom. Like the two of us, like we're just a couple of like, young girls and we're playing the game and we're having fun.
They must have been in their late 50s.
They're like old and they like never occurred to them, but they probably also didn't drink much at that point in their lives. So it was,
point, right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I love this photo.
Uh-huh. Who is that?
Just a guy. I don't know.
Wait, he looks familiar though.
He does look familiar.
I know. Yeah.
Because I took this as a part of my senior project, independent photography study I did on Kirkwood.
Yeah.
Which is the street that leads out of campus into Bloomington, and all the best like bars and restaurants and stuff are there.
Yeah. So that's
I had to photograph like all the things that made Kirkwood interesting.
Yeah.
So I went to Nick's and photographed this.
And we I was going to say, I think one of the first times that we ever met was at Nick's.
Yeah.
was at Katie's birthday. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah.
And then you took my phone number.
Yeah, right
but
outside
I didn't
of
know
Nick's.
it. But I didn't know it.
And then I called you later.
Yeah. I was giving my phone number to somebody else. Not a guy. A girl.
Oh, and I stepped over there to get it.
You took my phone number.
That's right.
You didn't remember that?
But I do. I forgot in the moment. God. Yeah.
And then you called me a few weeks later and I was like, how did you get my number? And you're like, I got it when you gave it to so-and-so.
Probably gave it to Katie.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Shout out Katie.
Yeah. She's a journalist.
So talking about that, and I'll put up a bunch of photos I have from that project of like shooting along.
You've shown that one before.
Yeah.
And pizzeria.
A lot of these are...
Cafe Pizzeria. Jiffy Tree. A lot of these aren't here anymore.
Yeah, it's interesting, like, documenting in time.
But Nick's is.
Nick's is still there.
Nick's is still there. Village Deli's still there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then the other thing we just touched on briefly were the sample gates.
Yeah. So not only is this the road out of campus, it's the road into campus. So you go through the sample gates, which look like they've been there forever.
Yeah.
But they have not.
No. The sample gates were built in 1987.
They're so new.
So here's what I learned about the sample gates is that there was always talk of building, because that's the west side of campus. Yeah?
Yeah.
So there was always talk about building some sort of entrance to the campus from the community in that spot. Because that's the old part of IU, the original buildings of IU.
Right.
There was a fire at one point, wasn't there?
That was at the old location.
Old location.
There was this part, Seminary Park, which is just like down the road and just up a little bit.
Okay.
And then they moved to the new location.
Sure. So these are like the oldest buildings on campus here.
Yes. And also now we're getting into where I need to make sure you understand that this is one of the most beautiful campuses in the country.
It really is.
It is so gorgeous. Now we're going to talk about that.
Yeah.
We talked about sports.
Yeah.
We've talked about drinking.
Yeah.
And parties at IU. And now we're going to talk about the architecture
and the
campus itself. Mm-hmm. Okay.
So the sample gates, they for a long time had wanted to have something there. So these are plans that were drawn in 1932 as an option. They look 1932.
Yeah, they really do.
They're very
they're like Neolithic. Is that the right word?
Maybe.
Greek revival.
Something. They almost feel like
feel
like Art Deco a little bit.
Maybe.
No,
I don't know. This is all
plain.
We did not prepare for that, so let's just keep going.
Yeah, some kind of architectural style.
We are not architecture students.
No.
Okay. Oh.
This is just 3 years later, another plan that they had. Mm-hmm. It looks very tall.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
it really does.
It says 59 feet, 57 feet tall.
Okay.
That's very tall.
Mm-hmm.
So that was another idea that they had. So the design for the sample gates as they were built came from 1967.
Mm-hmm. You know what they look like in this picture is like from the Never-Ending Story.
I've watched that movie so many times and I don't remember
where they have to like walk through the gate and there's like the people and they like the statues and they like start crumbling.
Oh yeah, I do remember.
It's like a gate
that.
like that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it was designed in the 60s and then it kind of was left. So this guy, Edson Sample, who worked for the university.
Oh, that's why they're called the sample gates.
For a long time. Well, he named them after his parents.
Okay.
They're built, there's a plaque on it, in honor of his parents.
Okay.
And so he funded it. And he was not, he wasn't like a business executive or something. He was a guy who worked for the university his whole career. So, he used his own money to fund the sample gates being built, and they were finished in 1987.
Well, that's neat.
Oh, here's a couple of my photos that I took in college.
There's luminaries. Yeah, that's a nice picture, though. Wait, go back. That one.
Yeah. So, okay, but I'm just realizing there's kind of this thing that happens multiple times of things at IU being planned and then not being built until later.
Oh, it's an interesting trend. I wonder if that's typical at universities because of funding, or is it special to IU?
I don't know. It could be. We'll have to find out. So there was a building that was going to be commissioned by one of the fraternities in the 1950s by the famous architect Ludwig Mies van der Rohe, most commonly just known as Mies van der Rohe. And he drew up these plans, and they just never got built. And then they were kind of unearthed in a library not at IU, I think in Chicago, and a well-off IU alum, Eskenazi, who also have other buildings named for them on campus. They funded this project. 2019 is when they started it. So they found this famous architect's design intended for IU, and then they had it built, roughly 60 years after they were originally drawn.
Yeah.
It's a really cool building.
Yeah. What's it used for?
It's the Eskenazi architecture and design. Oh. It's tied to the art school, but the architects have their own building here.
So one thing that I noticed about looking through the research for IU before we did this episode was that walking through the history of the school, that I was seeing basically most of the campus. So I know you said that Eskenazi has buildings on campus, but most of the campus is named after founding people.
Yeah.
Who important educators and past presidents and just students who figured things out, or you know what I mean? And it's really interesting because you kind of see every building on campus listed in the history of IU.
Yeah.
In every street, in everything. And I just thought that was so interesting that it was this literally all these people. Of course I knew it because you walk through campus over and over again and you see all the plaques and you see, the houses named for people,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And the buildings named for them, or bridges or Jordan River.
Right.
as it's called. So, you know what I mean? All these different parts of campus. But it's interesting that, I don't know. I like that about IU, that the history is so present.
Yeah, everywhere you go, there's something connecting it.
Yeah. So it's you really, all those names as you're coming up through. It has a lot of I don't know, gravitas to it.
Sure.
Yeah. And
Okay,
so that's a very modern design, but most of IU is built with Indiana limestone.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of really cool buildings throughout the campus.
Yeah. So this building is right across the parking lot from the library.
Okay.
The library is very cool, modern design from the 60s. And it's kind of like this brutalist style. So I found this photo of it has a lot more though, constructed. Visual interest. Yeah. And it's interesting because this photo of the construction puts to rest a myth that I always heard about the library.
Okay.
Which was so there's a dorm right across the street from the library.
Right.
And people said that when they built the library, the stone face of it was smooth. It was all just smooth Indiana limestone.
Right.
And that students would use a projector from the dorm to project adult films onto the side of the library. And that's why they put this kind of rippled stone facade.
Right.
But really, the stone facade was there from the beginning.
There, yeah.
And I think it's supposed to mimic books, stacks
I
of
agree
books.
with that. I think it's supposed to be stacks of books. Yeah.
Yeah. So
it's a huge
I
library.
love that about photography, finding these things out. And
it's really cool. It sits right in the middle of campus.
Yeah.
And
anything that I research, there's always a photography or some interesting side note of photography that comes up. When I was looking for old photos of the library, I found this one, and the photographer is Carolyn Elliott McNamara. And she turns out was just a very prolific amateur photographer.
Okay.
She was born in 1919 or something. But everywhere she went, she would take photos around the state, and she has lots of mid-century documentation of the state of Indiana.
Oh, that's neat.
That she donated all to the Historical Society.
Okay.
So now this collection of photos. And I think it just shows how important photography can be on any level, because you're talking about someone who wasn't seeking to be an artist as far as I gathered, or doing it professionally. They just had an interest in kind of documenting their world. And then now 50, 60, 70 years removed from the photos, it's important to have these images.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And they're really useful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So around, so far we've looked at some buildings that are not really typical of the campus of IU though.
Sure.
Which is interesting that those are the buildings that you were most excited about sharing, because my favorite buildings are totally different.
Yeah. Well, we can talk. Let's talk about yours too.
My favorite, I really love the old buildings right by the sample gates.
Yeah.
So I wonder.
Franklin Hall is where the media school is, and where I taught at there, right next to the sample gates.
Yeah, and there's so all of the kind of really old buildings there are really beautiful. They're made out of, they were built with Indiana limestone. And interesting thing I learned about Indiana limestone is that for a long time they did not know that the entire limestone belt was connected. So each city basically called its limestone its own thing.
They called it by like different names?
It was like Bedford, Bloomington, and there's Salem is a city that had, and that's called the Salem limestone belt, I guess. Mm-hmm. But like, so every single like small town basically had their own limestone, but it's actually just like one giant limestone.
Huh.
And it goes like, I don't know, I think it was like 80 feet into the ground or something.
Oh, wow.
It's a lot of limestone. And actually Indiana limestone is at a lot of buildings that are really famous, like the Pentagon. And it's also, I think, at some
Washington Monument.
Yeah, I was going to say, is it the Washington Monument? And then what about and the Lincoln Memorial, maybe?
I think so. The Washington Monument, they like stopped building the monument and then they started again, and the limestone was like different.
Yes, because what happens is that the limestone changes because it wears really quickly. So like as a building material. So actually like upper levels of limestone are like more beautiful, I guess, because they have like a patina, but like lower levels are stronger.
Huh.
Like deeper you go. That's because it's been whatever. But that's the reason, the limestone is the reason that southern Indiana is so hilly.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I know.
I love it because, and I still do it when I go back, I love to put my hand on the limestone.
Yeah.
It's always cool, and it just has a great like texture and feel to it.
Yeah. And so the majority of campus is actually like built with the beautiful, century-old limestone buildings. And when you are walking into the sample gates, you see all these really pretty buildings, and that's where I went to school for English classes and philosophy classes all through my time. And this is my favorite part of campus. Also because there's the woods there.
Yeah.
And in the woods, it's really fun because there are these desire paths that were formed by students over the years, and they're bricked in now.
Yeah.
So there are these crazy paths. Our kids love to run through them when we go. We walk in by that area, and they run through the woods, and it's just like paths that crisscross like 100 different times. Like it's really silly.
Yeah.
But they're bricked all the way through that part of campus. And so you can literally be walking like 5 feet away from somebody else. Because if you don't know what a desire path is, it's just where people want to walk. And instead of fighting that want and trying to force people to walk somewhere else, you just accept it.
Yeah.
As like a developer or a planner, and you build your paths where they are. So like you probably have desire paths if you have a dog in your yard, or if you have kids, because kids are not going to be walking all the way around the fancy paths at your yard. So everybody has them. They're everywhere. It's what I love about it is that you embrace them. Yeah. Which is unusual.
That is very cool.
So in trying to control the flow of traffic. And there are so many buildings in the woods and that you're crossing through. Yeah. So where you want to go exactly where you want to go. You don't want to go around and through everything. So I really love that part. And then near there, we get to the Union. Yes. Which is one of the largest student unions in the country. Yeah. Possibly the world. I read an interesting story about the IMU, which was that it was founded because there was a lot of like altercations happening on campus. What? And so the president at the time may have been Wiley. Okay. Worked with like the student body president or something. And his name is also, we got to look it up because it's also a big IU name. Okay. And And they created the student union, and that was formed like in the 1800s also.
Wow.
And
crazy.
so it's huge. It's got a bowling alley.
Yeah.
It's got a billiards room. It's got a hotel that we've stayed in.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's kind of like a fun little, it's like, it's a cute hotel.
Yeah.
And, but it's big. Lots of really cool nooks and crannies. Everybody uses the union at this campus. It's like a major part of the university.
I love how it's all, there's not like a clear path through it.
Oh my God.
So it takes
madness.
a while to kind of learn.
And there's
how
so
to
many
walk
things
through
like
it.
you can go back and be like, I didn't know this was in this union.
Yeah.
There's a
find all
movie
kinds of
theater.
stuff.
There's
The movie theater. But I always remember about the movie theater, side note, is my freshman year, that movie, the Guy Ritchie movie Snatch came out.
Uh-huh.
And it's free to students to watch movies there. And I was like, I have to go see this movie. So a friend and I went. And then we were like, that was so good. Let's go again tomorrow. We went like 5 times.
That's so cute.
That weekend to watch it for free at the theater.
That's such like a freshman boy thing movie to
Yeah.
see. Yeah, I saw it too. It was good.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Well, my friend was she.
oh, well, that's
Not a
also
girlfriend.
funny. I think
be
she might have
clear.
wanted to be your
No.
girlfriend.
No.
Okay, so I love the Union. If you visit IU, you have to go to the Union.
Yeah.
There's so much cool old furniture, and all the students are there, and so you can really see like what kids are like at the
Yeah.
time, which is fun.
Mm-hmm.
And there's food, and it's cheap because it's on campus.
Yeah.
Great place to feed your kids if you take them there to visit.
Yeah, definitely.
Jordan River, as I mentioned, is a thing that is a creek that
Yeah.
runs through campus. And there's a couple of big fields near there.
Yeah, Dunn Meadow is right next to it.
Dunn Meadow is right next to it, and that's where all the protests happen.
Yeah, the protests.
During all the wars.
There was the camp,
They had like an encampment.
they had an encampment during the after September 11th.
Yeah.
And all the war stuff going on with that.
Yeah, there are always protests there.
Yeah.
And then also, I saw the Y Store there
Oh.
for a free concert during Little 5 Week one year.
I saw Wesley Willis there.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's a legend in the like underground music community.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so so that's all fun stuff that happens. And then between the Union and the library, they're not like across from each other. They're like
Right.
catty corner to each other.
Yeah.
You can see the Arboretum,
Yeah.
which is one of my other favorite parts of campus.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Which is just a giant field with paths and trees. And it used to be the velodrome, where the velodrome was.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so that's why it's a big open space. And so it was I don't know exactly how it worked, but anyways, the Arboretum, I think, was maybe the entire like redoing of it.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Into
Yeah.
a green space was a donation
Okay.
by a couple. And and it's just meant to be like a botanical like oasis in the middle of campus. And it is, and everybody walks through there. And IU is like an only walkable campus. They really do not let you get inside campus with a car.
Yeah.
It's a huge pain in the butt if you are late to class.
Yeah.
Because you cannot drive
No,
your car
there's nowhere
unless
to park.
But what you could do, at least in the 90s, was you could drive to the Union, park at the Union because there are parking spots there because it's a hotel.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just leave your car there until after midnight.
Yeah, and then they'd open the gates.
And then they
you
open the
could get
gates
out
and
for
you could
free.
leave. And so then you'd have to have a friend drive you back, or like you'd walk back.
Yeah.
Like go out and like hang out at a friend's house and then come home
Yeah.
and drive your car
Yeah,
home.
that's what you would do if you were late to class.
Yes, because that worked. And so that's all. Oh, and then right there by the Union, this keeps going on. This is how much I love IU.
Yeah.
I love IU so much. There's a cemetery
Yeah.
and there's a little chapel.
Yeah.
Where you can get married.
I've photographed weddings at that chapel.
Yeah.
2, I think.
And and if you stay in a really good room at the Union, you get to look out on the chapel and the cemetery, which your kids love.
Yeah, they really
They
did.
do.
Didn't
Yeah,
they?
they love to
Yeah.
look down at that. And if it's snowy and like the headstones get snowy and it's so pretty there.
Yeah.
There's all the like limestone shale around the walkways and stuff. It's all very pretty. I feel like it was such a dream. It's a magical place.
Yeah, for sure.
So not only are there beautiful buildings at IU,
Yeah.
not only are there great sports and fun parties and pleasant people because it's the Midwest.
Mm-hmm.
There are also some really famous programs that came out of there. And most notably, well, first of all, let's go with the Lilly Library, which was a donation from the Lilly family. But there are a number of families that have donated to the Lilly Library because there are huge collections there.
Yeah.
But they are like, they have, I think, so the Lilly Library is up by the art school around Showalter Fountain. And I think that there's like a children's literature collection there. There is like a Western American collection. There's a number of different, family collections that were donated. But also, and like each of the rooms is like kind of houses a different part of the collection, and they're all really neat. But also, I think that they might have the biggest puzzle collection.
Really?
Of anywhere.
Wow.
Or
That's
like
cool.
the most kind of important one.
Sure.
And I remember going to see the puzzles, and they're like really, really old puzzles, like playing puzzles.
Really?
That you can see there.
I think that
and it's free, and you can go anytime you visit campus.
When I was a student, I didn't appreciate the kind of archives.
Yeah.
That a lot of schools have.
That
our school had.
Yeah, and just anywhere.
I don't know if I ever went in the Lilly Library while I was a student there.
I only went like twice because my classes took me.
And even things when they did have an impact on me, I still like never really followed up. Like, for example, when I took a fine art photography class, one of the days our professor had the people at the museum pull a bunch of prints by famous photographers. And I remember walking through and looking at those and seeing like a print, like an actual print made by Ansel Adams of one of his famous images. And just being like amazed by that. Be seeing it up so close and the fine detail, and that like I was so close to something that he had created himself. And I just never looked into it any further than that.
I think that's probably pretty typical of that age, though. I mean, I think that adulthood, like real adulthood, is for like appreciating time. And I think that it takes a long time, and you have to make your own things before you really realize how much work and effort goes into creating things.
Yeah.
It is really hard. And I mean, like I feel like of all the things, people that have taught me that, it's really interesting because I would say it's like the content era and our podcast that have taught me the most about how hard it is to make anything.
Yeah.
Because it's like, because there's such a chasm between like, how easy I think it should be to like produce social media content or to make a video and put it on the internet.
Right.
Versus how hard it actually is.
Right.
And then we took that to another level with the podcast. Yeah. And this is a true labor of love because it is so much work.
Yeah, for sure.
And I can't believe that as many people do it as do.
Yeah.
Honestly, I know it must not be as hard for some people. I don't know. But it really astounding. And I think that it's really easy to sit and say like, anything is easy because I just don't think anything is. Right. I don't think actually making anything is very easy. And I think it takes you a while to really come to terms with that. That just doing anything is hard.
Well, these
then
are
you
common
appreciate it more.
Threads. Like I've always said, you hear these stories and people are like, yeah, and then 10 years went by and then I got this thing. And it's like, you covered 10 years in one sentence.
Right.
Maybe 2 or 3.
Right.
And
that doesn't even cover the time it took to cry one time about how hard it was.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I filled up a whole year just crying in my adulthood in the like last decade about how hard life is.
Yeah.
Like, I've probably cried for a year of it.
Well, just looking at all of these things and like the sample gates and how
long it takes to really do anything.
It was 50 years from when at least the first drawing I saw.
Do you remember that book, Pillars of the Earth?
Actually got built? Yeah.
And how it was generations of people who built the churches.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Right.
To think about. And like we struggle with like it taking 10 years to make something or 20 or 30.
Yeah.
And it really does. I mean, people say that all the time. Like I started this movie 10 years ago.
All the things I talked about Coach Yeagley starting the soccer program.
10 years before he even got varsity
before they
status.
Got to varsity.
Yeah,
and somebody just just he was teaching something and running the club team, and that person's making like a base salary.
Right.
They're not making a coach's varsity coach of a big program salary.
Yeah, he really believed in that.
Yeah.
And I think or just the other day when you were talking about a picture you took 5 years ago, and we were like, and everybody's like, we love this picture. And I'm like, yeah, like 5 years later.
5 years later.
Of one picture, right?
Yeah.
And it takes so long to find an audience and to build things for whatever it is you're making.
Yeah.
To find the funding or the interest.
For sure.
Science
really does.
Research takes forever. Everything takes forever. Everything takes forever. And so once you start to see that, then you can just appreciate this one print being really cool and having all these details. Like, so even if you could see it then and thinking I'm in proximity to this and that's really neat.
Yeah.
But really, like, that's somebody's time.
Well, and that moment, and you're right, a lot of times it is kind of like planting a seed, because that moment and how I remembered it led me to reach out to the museum to do that live stream that I did from there almost 5 years ago.
Was that 5 years ago?
4 years ago, maybe.
The art museum. That's a fun. We should link to that.
I think it was about 4 years ago.
And you can see how, like, nervous you were.
It was around this time of year. But yeah, I felt nervous. Yeah. So coming up on 4 years ago this month is when we did this live stream with Dr. Lauren Richmond, assistant curator of photography at the Eskenazi Art Museum.
Yeah.
And she was great to work with, and she sent me a list of things that we could pull from. I sent some names of photographers that I liked, and she sent me back all this stuff, and we pulled a lot of prints. I mean, 20, 30 prints.
I know. And that was so fun. And
Eggleston's Red Ceiling dye transfer print. Like, that was amazing. And there were so many other
you were so excited. You were awed by a lot of it. I remember that.
Yeah, I didn't have
tried
to
watch the whole thing.
Good.
No, it was really early on in live streaming in general, because we did it on TikTok.
Yeah.
Yeah? And so, like,
well, we did it on TikTok and YouTube.
But I think that especially for TikTok, that was like really at the beginning of live streaming on TikTok.
Yeah.
And we didn't have any experience with it either way.
No.
That was your first big live stream, which is crazy.
It was crazy. And it was great. I really liked it, and it was a good conversation.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so cool. Yeah, so you can see that at IU.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of, that's the kind of, I don't know, it's just the kind of university it is.
That's the whole point of these things existing. Maybe it's being raised in the Midwest or some sort of thing where you're like, I don't want to bother people. That's their whole thing, is to like want to show people who care about these prints. I will tell you,
nobody wants to be bothered more than a librarian, which is the great irony of how librarians are depicted.
Yeah.
Because they love answering your questions. I'll tell you who they love. They love homeschoolers.
Yeah.
These kids, our kids go in and they ask questions. First of all, it's the middle of the day. So they're like excited to talk to a big kid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And our kids can go up and ask, and they're so brave, and they've learned so much from being in libraries with librarians, because I would have always, not wanted to ask any questions. I'd be like, let's just look it up. We'll just figure it out ourselves. And our kids are like, the librarian will know. And so they'll go over and they'll say things like, there was a book.
Right.
That was green.
And it was about dragons.
Yes. And there was something about this. And it was maybe this big. And they'll be like, was it this one?
And they're like, yes. They know right away. They don't
know what it was.
Look it up.
I mean, it's incredible. And so I think, or they'll get you books. They get you the stuff. I mean, librarians are absolutely the greatest educators, in my opinion.
Yeah.
The greatest educational professionals in our country.
Yeah.
Absolutely one of the most amazing things we did as a culture was have public libraries.
Yeah.
I love our public library. We talk about it all the time. But that is what university libraries, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
The access to the materials and the information and just all the stuff that's available. So cool. Mm-hmm. And Indiana University has a lot of that. Also, I think that we should finish up this episode by talking about one of the most famous programs at IU, which is the Kinsey Institute.
Yeah.
So the Kinsey Institute for Research in Sex, Gender, and Reproduction is a research institute at Indiana University. And it was founded or established in 1947, but really came about even before that. And I'm sure most of our listeners are familiar with Kinsey, the name, in some capacity.
Because of the Kinsey scale.
Because of the Kinsey scale, which everybody loves to refer to.
Yeah.
But also, I see Kinsey scale stuff all the time.
I say if sexuality is a spectrum,
right,
that means someone is the gayest person.
I saw that the other day on Threads. I don't know if that was your thread. Let us know. And did you take human sexuality? That's like a really famous course at IU. Like so many people take it. Everybody, I can't even believe that I had the nerve to take it.
Maybe I did and I like blacked it out.
I did, and I learned a lot. I did, coming from like a Midwestern home, kind of like a traditionally conservative Indiana home, I didn't know anything about like gender and versus sexuality and all these things. And it was really cool. And I learned a lot. And I also learned about like, there's some great women's studies programs and stuff at IU too. And, just really expanded my worldview. Definitely made me more liberal. It does, because education does. It expands your horizons. That's what liberal arts do. And thank God for that.
Yeah, right.
So I think that the Kinsey Institute, though, is really cool and started really early on. Herman B. Wells.
Yes.
Probably the most famous IU president.
And chancellor.
You can go sit with him on a bench.
Yeah, there's a life-size bronze sculpture of him sitting on a bench.
He is usually dressed for an occasion.
Yes.
Often. I should not say usually. Often dressed for some occasion. Mm-hmm. And
you mean the students put stuff on him?
Yeah.
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 Yeah, yeah.
And you can sit on the bench next to him.
Yeah. I love that they made his statue as a part of the bench, and people like sit and climb and do this stuff. I never met him, but I feel like he would have been delighted by that.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that it's very intentional. I always got the feeling
not an accident.
that it was meant to be very kind of
interactive.
Yes, he seemed like, it seems like a really neat person.
Yeah.
We were talking today about how he always looks so happy.
Yeah.
And also he took his wife's name as his his mom's name. I always thought it was his wife's
middle initial.
Yes. He added his mom's name to his name.
Because he didn't have a middle name.
Right.
Yeah. That's what you told me.
Yeah. So that's cool. He was a cool guy. He helped helped in the sense that he was very supportive of the Kinseys and their research.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you read about how the Kinsey Institute started? They wanted a marriage class.
Oh yeah, they started in the 1930s because it was really popular to have marriage classes. But I think that I think I kind of got the feeling from what I was reading that there were already a number of universities that offered a marriage class.
Yeah.
And so they wanted to do something a little bit different. And they also wanted something along the lines of like a women's studies kind of class.
I think the thing I read said that, the marriage classes were popular. IU wanted to have one. Mm-hmm. They asked Kinsey. And then he found that during the class, he was getting a lot of questions from students, especially, I think, like anonymously or kind of on the side or whatever, being like, is this normal? And then it was related to sex stuff. So he wanted to do more research on what was
normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bring a like scientific method.
Yeah. To
studying human sexuality.
And so almost 100 years later.
I mean, right away, it was a big thing. I found this picture I thought was really cool. Him giving a lecture.
Oh, wow.
In the 40s at, I think this was UC Berkeley. And there's just like hundreds of people there to hear his lecture. Yeah. So they made a movie.
Yes. I don't know.
2003 starring Liam Neeson.
He didn't do all this by himself. Okay.
No,
on.
Yeah, he worked with
his wife. Yeah. Crucial collaborator in logistical support.
They had an open relationship.
Yeah. See, like, I think that she, like...
Wait, hold on. Claire immersed herself in his work, helping him entertain students and participants in his research, transcribing diaries and other materials, and participating in the filming of sexual intercourse.
Yeah, I think that she was, like... I always thought that she was, like, closely... related to the work. Anything else you want to say about IU?
No, not really.
I love IU.
Oh, I did want to say something about this t-shirt.
You probably should.
So the reason I have this ratty t-shirt on is because I bought this in 2000 when I did my campus visit to IU after high school.
From your campus visit?
Yeah, I bought it at the student bookstore at the Union for like $9 or $10. And I bought this one and a gray one.
And you have them both.
Well, my gray one didn't survive.
It's not still alive. I feel like we saw that fairly recently.
Yeah, so I've had this now almost 26 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so exciting. That's crazy. There it is.
Yep, there's IU.
Hey, so glad that I went to IU so I could meet you.
Oh, that's so nice. Me too. I love you.
I love you, and I love IU. Mm-hmm. I feel like we should see. I wish that I had some. I wish we had some of the fight song in here.
We can put it.
Okay, I'm gonna sing it. Indiana, we're all for you. Bum 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 bum. IU.
I was worried I was gonna hit my microphone, so I didn't do the hand motion.
Oh,
at the end there.
That's too bad.
Yeah, I missed out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
All right, go IU. Go Hoosiers.
I always hear the like the tuba part. It's like bum 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 bum.
I like that. I like it. I never knew that. I never knew that.
I feel like they sometimes like do a vamp where they just during the sporting event.
What does that mean? Or just a little romp, having fun?
Oh, that's kind of just like a vamp. Really is like where it's not, you're not playing a song. It's really like where they're like, and sometimes that'll like just kind of in the background, like maybe then there's like the singer's like talking.
Okay.
Or something over it. So the vamp is just kind of like something going on.
Okay.
So I think maybe sometimes they would play that while something else was going on. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
That's cute.
Yeah. All right.
It's cute.
Good job. We did it. That's going to take me a long time to edit.
I know it. It's a fun episode.
It's going to take a long time to edit.